Welcome back, man. This is going to be our part two of this series with Samantha. And what I loved about the first part was the word pause.
Yes.
And I have to do that quite a bit. My brother and I, he's the one that's had the ortho surgeries, right. And we went and saw him in Oklahoma. And he and I have the same humor tendencies, and we not only enjoy laughing, we think people should laugh at our stuff, right? You should think what I say is funny, right? And a lot of times we'll put our foot in our mouth.
Oh, I think that's everybody right now. There's no filters, as they like to call it.
But I will say this, sometimes I try now, before I use my humor, I try to actually pause and say, is this the right place and the right time?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now you took a pause, you got some people in your life, started turning things around. What is going on now?
Okay, after I took a pause and got some wise and discerning counsel of what I needed to do, I actually made what I was doing underneath the table, funny haha table here, underneath the table, and made it legal 2 weeks before I graduated college.
Okay.
And
was it illegal before that?
Well, if you're not paying taxes on, like, I think it's either $100 or $500 per year or whatnot, it is then illegal.
Yeah, I would, when I was doing shows and stuff, like starting out, and I'd get paid, but only up to a certain point.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I got you now.
And I was figuring all that out while going to school, while working, while raising the last kiddo at home and dealing with all that. I started my own business. And then I tried to do a 9 to 5. It really wasn't a 9 to 5. It's more like a 12 to 12, broken up through the day job. And I navigated the first year running my own business not as well as I would have liked to. It came to terms with the fact that it just wasn't flying to serve one master and serve another.
Yeah.
I know there's the Bible parable mixed in there, but I know there's a lot of fables as well based on that story. So you can't serve two different per se party groups at the same time. Even if you're in a restaurant, you just can't do it. And so I went full-time into my business back in October. And boy, has it been a learning journey, just in that of what you do and what you don't do and what people's background knowledge of just living life and interacting with people should be. Like, it's mind-blowing how far back our society has fallen. You learn very quickly. And
so you feel our society has fallen back and not moved forward?
Just with healthy boundaries.
Okay.
Of things you should or should not say to people. How you pay for business services and how you shouldn't pay for business services. You know the story behind that one. And just the overall being asked to sign documents without seeing the actual document. And me going, I need to see that in writing, and someone else involved in the whole process said something to the effect, it's self-explanatory. No. I want to see what I'm signing. If you don't have a copy of it, I'm not going to sign it.
I've even read stuff that I didn't understand. So in some of my journeys, I'm like, maybe can you rewrite it to where, because I didn't want to sign anything if I didn't understand what it was saying.
Correct. And just learning to navigate dealing with paying your taxes on your income coming in as a self-employed person.
Yeah.
And whether or not you overpay or you subtract your quarterly expenses, which is, by the way, that you're supposed to take them out, you hold out,
yes,
subtract that, and then that's your tax amount that you actually send in. Did not
My dad did that for many, many years as a minister. The church, well, during that time, the church would not pull out taxes. So he would set aside XYZ dollars, and quarterly, he would mail that in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get all that. That's now if you forget to do that, and there were times when I was doing the entertaining with the ventriloquism and the comedy that I forgot to do that because I was starting to make pretty good money and wasn't paying in. So then when it came tax time, guess what? I owed a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I get that. Yeah.
And so that's where we're at. I've learned a lot. And in the process, I have found that I actually teach more now than I have looking at going into the education field.
And I see that. I see that a lot with what you're doing.
And so I was like, I still needed that education background to be able to be a business owner because of just all the things you navigate with vendors, with clients family, what lines you can and cannot cross because there's HIPAA, there's FERPA, there's all sorts of things that are ethical and unethical that you will be held accountable for.
Yeah. So for our audience, the last episode we talk about if you're stuck in life, here's some things we can do.
Right.
Now, this past period of time in your life where you've kind of learned some things the hard way.
Right.
What keeps you from just saying, I give up?
Because I know God is going to use everything for the good. And I think that's Romans 8:28, where he takes no matter what it is, good, bad, ugly, and just terrible tragedy. He will take it and use it for the good.
So if somebody's watching this that just keeps trying, keeps running into roadblocks.
Oh, I cannot tell you the number of roadblocks I've literally, if it was a car and a concrete roadblock, I would have had countless accidents.
But what about people that are struggling with their faith? What about people of no faith? There are 4,700 people in Ozark alone that say they have no religious affiliation. How do you encourage people, to don't give up, to take that next step?
Right.
How can you do that when you're just kind of still bogged down after you've even tried to do that, pausing to do that? Okay, I'm going to start following my heart, following what I want to do. And then you just run into all these roadblocks.
The first roadblock that we have is people tell them, fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
If I could take that roadblock and demolish it and tell people, stop telling people to do that because it doesn't work, it makes them more unstable.
How is that? That's interesting because we've heard that a lot.
Yes. So, at the start of my journey 10 years ago, I had someone who would let me borrow their office because I had no private area to have a basically an emotional mental breakdown, and had to learn to have that breakdown, pull my jeans and my boots back on, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and go out and be a mom. And there were people around us who would say, she doesn't need to be here because she's crying in an office. Okay, that's the first mistake. You have to be in an environment where you can be vulnerable.
Yeah. You
have to be in an environment where you can say, I'm having a really crappy day, and this hurts. This sucks. I don't know how I'm going to make it through it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to put food on the table. I don't know if I have gas in my car. I don't know how to help my kid in the middle of their own trauma. And that is one of the scariest things for parents, is because dealing with kids who have trauma is a whole different ball game. And I say ball game because it's not a game. You're playing with somebody's heart, mind, and soul. You've heard one of my daughter's testimony. so you know what she went through. Take that and flip it to the parent side of having to walk through that with your kid. And having somebody to tell you, fake it till you make it. But that rope that you're hanging on to is literally unraveling while they're saying that, and there's no trampoline, there is no whatever the firefighters put out for people who are thinking of jumping off buildings. There's nothing there to catch you. A safety net. There's nothing there to catch you, but yet you still have to be strong for your kid. And there is no supports in place for parents dealing with trauma. Trust me, I've been given a list of resources over and over and over. And they still give out the same list of resources to this day that I got close to 10 years ago.
I know.
With no updates on it. And they don't give the parents who need help Medicaid either. Parents don't qualify for assistance because they don't have trauma. Wrong.
The society, the society in which we live, I feel, is catered towards a few. Let's go back. Oh my goodness. Well, my son's 31 now. So let's go back almost 30 years ago. Went through a military divorce. And I was paying child support. Back in the day, you would take it to the courthouse. It's different now, but you would take it to the courthouse. And so I was waiting in line to pay child support. And the guy in front of me was in tears, broken. He'd been paying, but his ex was hounding him because they never got the money. But when they opened up the account, he had overpaid 6 months. So he had been paying. I don't know what happened from him paying to where he's got a surplus, so to speak, and why is she not getting the money? I don't know. I didn't have that privy. But I do know sometimes we feel like life is against us. Life is not fair. And Absolutely. Why do we have to work so hard? And I've seen you, since I've met you, overcome so much. And I know you've not done it by yourself.
No.
So you are at this stage now, though, and yes. I've seen you do some amazing stuff. Okay? Yes. And right now you took that pause several years ago and you redirected your life, if you will. You are now on this path of doing some amazing things. What got you over that hurdle?
God.
Okay.
Literally God. Like, there are days I'm like, God, are you even real? Do you even hear? Like, if you were in the car with me when I was praying, you'd be like, you can't talk to God like that. Excuse me. Yes, I can. Because supposedly the Bible says I am the daughter of the king.
Yeah.
If I'm the daughter of the king, I should be able to walk right into that throne room and have a hissy fit, as we like to call it.
Well, there are people that wrestled with God in the Bible. Okay. There are people that, Job is a great example of, wow, you lose everything, and then gain it back. You got to keep moving forward, though. Job, in spite of all the challenges he faced, kept moving forward, even though it was hard.
And Job had the wrong circle of friends, too.
Oh, for sure. Especially at the
And if you read the end of Job, let me tell you, that Lord is like, here, let me give you NCI head slap, friends, because you got it all wrong.
Yeah, so I think it is very important that we have people in our life that are going to walk with us, encourage us, and I'm so grateful for those people that are in my life. And I consider you to be one of those. When we first met, there was conversations we had. We didn't know each other.
Right.
And so, there are people in my life right now. My buddy Stan, that he lives in Las Cruces, New Mexico, but we communicate almost every day. And when I was going through my military divorce and, had visitation with my son, He lived here at that time, and he met with me every morning to pray with me, to encourage me. Because without him, I don't know where I would have been. It was a hard time. I was confused in my faith. I felt like my denomination had turned its back on me. I'm not saying it did. I'm just saying that's how I felt. And there were some hard days there.
Definitely.
So it was he's been a lifelong friend, and I'm grateful for that. So what is for people that are moving forward, we're still going to have challenges.
Absolutely. I still got 3 this week.
You say God is the key. How do we make that real? How do we live that out, though?
How do you live that out is a choice. It's your choice. And for me, it took, even though I was in the Bible every day, I was reading it, I was doing devotionals, I was praying. Like, my kids will laugh. They'll tell you, man, Mom's prayers, I really thought God was going to strike her down with lightning, because, man, she just, you don't talk to God like that. I straight talk to God.
Yeah.
I didn't hide where I was at. And I know a lot of times I could almost hear him laughing, going, I love you. I just love you. I understand why you're where you're at and why you're talking the way you're talking right now. And you're not crazy. You have a right to feel this way. But don't let it make you become bitter. Like, that's...
Yeah.
So no matter where I'm at, I always just pray where I'm at. It doesn't matter whether it's proper English or slang, or in some cases, the choice of our words, whether they're positive or negative. He gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And he understands why we're coming to him in that state.
So we are recording this right before Palm Sunday.
Yes.
This episode probably won't go out until after Palm Sunday. Okay? And I always get emotional this time of year.
Yes.
We go because we celebrate Palm Sunday, Hosanna to the highest. He was marching down on a donkey, and people were throwing their cloaks and palm leaves and all this stuff, right? But between those 2 Sundays, there's a lot that went on.
Yes.
And I did a paper when I was pursuing my master's degree.
I remember that.
I finally made it through. But the one paper was on the trauma of Abraham when God asked him to sacrifice his son.
Absolutely.
And when I think of, we celebrate Christmas, the birth of Christ, right? We celebrate his birth, his early years. At the age of 12, he was astonishing people in the synagogue. They say his ministry didn't start till around 30. His ministry started a lot earlier than that.
Way earlier.
But he did focus on specific things, building, if you will, the future church of what we know as Christianity. But when he was on that cross, people were mocking him. People were making fun of him. And he said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which is,
it is finished, it is done, Father.
Translated, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? But yes, that same conversation he's having with the Father, he is like, what the heck?
Right. He's like, I knew I was going to die. Like, he knew he was going to the cross. But I don't think even in his human form, he had the totality to understand what he would go through to get put on the cross.
And he did say, though, when he took his last breath, it is finished.
Yes.
He no longer had to fight.
Right.
I want to encourage our viewers. Man, life's not easy.
Oh no.
I will tell you some of the. I was listening to, and I'm not going to mention any names, but in the Christian world, a pretty well-known Christian person, and in his later years, he got more transparent than he had been in his earlier years. And he said he would go to these meetings and preach, God will do this, God will bless you, God will be with you, But he said, then I get home and everything breaks down. The furnace breaks down, the dryer breaks down, or whatever, the car breaks down. And then, okay, I've got to realize that the sermons I preach to people, I got to live out.
Right.
And sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes it gets challenging. So if there was a couple things you could say to our people, I say our people. I look at people and I feel God wants us to love people.
Absolutely.
No matter what they're going through or what their background is. But what 2 or 3 things can you say to encourage someone to don't give up, keep moving forward? Because I've seen that in you.
So the first thing, I have had to start praying, and it's amazing the way he just divinely, I wanted to collaborate with another business owner on some projects, and I kept being told, no, this is not the time to collaborate with him. So I just started praying, not my will, but yours, Lord. Put me at the table you need me at when you need me at it.
I love it.
Meaning I lay down what I want to do or what I think is best, and I let him have the total reins. Let me tell you, that ain't easy to do.
Now I use that word surrender, okay?
Yeah.
Giving up, surrendering my selfish desires, so to speak,
right,
to what his plan is.
And it has been an amazing journey. I finally did get to collaborate with this particular business owner. We're still collaborating on some projects together. And just this week, that particular business owner in the conversation said, if you had not been on the job, I would have lost money. And I was like, I'm just glad that both of us are making money at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and what some people used to call me behind my back, because I have days where I'm so attentive to details.
Mm-hmm.
I'm it's called being hyper focused. Isn't very nice. Actually comes in handy in the business world of making money. And so I was like, okay, I'm actually using a gift, not a disability, a gift.
Yes. I love
and it. So, I say that all the time. And then a lot of it is just surrendering that you don't know everything. I've got a degree on my wall. I've got a 2-year degree on my wall. I've got a high school diploma somewhere many moons ago. But even no matter what age you are, you still don't know enough. We're here to learn from one another.
It's a journey.
And sometimes it's okay to pause, take that step, and then take another pause. Because you know what happened in February. Mm-hmm. And if it had not been for you and my circle at Encounter Ministries, I would not be sitting here having this conversation today.
So we're going to close out this episode because that's what I want to get to in our final episode.
Okay.
So I want to encourage you. 1, come back because we're going to record another episode. But if you feel like you've done everything that you think you should do and it's right, there are people that have felt the same way. Abraham Lincoln ran for office for I don't know how many times and always got voted out. He didn't get the vote. He didn't get the vote. And then finally he became president. I think there's a what's that commercial about the Ever Ready bunny? You know, he keeps going and going and
The
going.
Energizer.
The Energizer. And I went on my bike ride this morning early. It was nice weather out riding my bike, and this rabbit was hopping around in this front yard. And I was coming around again. It was still playing in that front yard. I think in life, when we are pursuing something or we feel like this is the direction the Lord wants us to go, there are times where we need to pause, be still, and know that God is God. And for those of you that might be struggling in your faith, or you've been wounded by religion or faith or whatever the case, keep your eyes on the prize, not those that are trying to pull you down or to discourage you. Because I believe God has a purpose for each of his creations.
Yes.
I really do. And it's different for different folks. I know a guy that his job was to be a good father, a good husband, great employee, but his life was not his career. His life was taking care of his family. And I think if more fathers had that mindset, had that, wow. And he has an amazing family. And to see what you've done, and your girls, I mean, God has used you in the midst of all this stuff.
Yes.
To be a great mom. To be a great person. So I'm so excited for our last and final episode. So stay tuned.